Hey, it's your boy Dre. This is part 2 of our Taito Egret II Mini discussion. Part 1 was a couple weeks ago. You can go ahead and check that out. I'm sure it's still pretty fresh on the timeline. So if you've heard that, let's continue on to part 2. All right, we're back, and then we're going to talk about a topic near and dear to our hearts. Video games! Yeah, but we're going to talk about Zuntata. Zuntata, give me a good Zuntata.
Zuntata.
No, with your crazy taxi voice.
Oh, it's Zuntata!
Real quick primer. I'm sure anyone even interested in listening to this knows who Zuntata is, but just in case you don't, they're Taito's in-house band. They have been since 1983. They haven't been credited as Zuntata all the time. Probably not till like the late 80s. I think they really started getting credited as that. But they existed, and you can tell. I don't know how else to say this without using language like this, but it's probably Zuntata makes the most evocative, avant-garde, weirdly emotional music and sound effects you will ever hear at the arcade. Am I correct?
You're correct. Yeah, it's pretty experimental. I think that's the best way to put it. I love avant-garde.
Experimental. Yeah, experimental is right. But you know what? Look, they can flex their pop muscle too. They did Bubble Bobble for obviously Puzzle Bobble. If they need to get cute, they can. But you know, a lot of times they don't. They just want to be weird, and we love. I'm a connoisseur of weird, and that's what I'm here for, baby.
I'm here for it too. Yeah, it's actually really surprising to imagine that. Like, how could that cutesy pop jingle from like Bubble Bobble be from the same guys that did like I don't know any of these crazy ass games we're about to mention?
Yeah, but like we're like I don't know. So let's start with we just talked about elevator action returns. Let's start with that because the game is astonishing. I said the music is also similarly truly astonishing. I've never heard anything like this that so mood setting of its time. It is so 90s.
It really
of course.
Is. Yeah.
That 90s chill. That's like one of my favorite modes of the 90s where, you know, the 80s was raw synthesizers, you know, especially the late 80s with that high energy kind of shit. We got to the 90s, we cooled it down, but I didn't expect us to cool it all the way down to jazz sometimes, even though we did. And this game represents that. Elevator Action Returns. It's just jazzy, emotional, deep, involving, just a masterwork. I really don't know what else to say. It's one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard from an arcade game.
It's super appropriate too, right? Because I mean, like, again, like, we're essentially playing a movie, right? So I mean, why not go with sort of like this sort of jazzy, sort of like soft, sort of like encompassing sort of soundtrack, right? It's like perfect for it. And it's and everything's just so like the sound of design is really punchy when it needs to be. Like the all the explosions like really resound, right? So it's a nice sort of like contrast, right?
Yeah, it's great. And like we talked about with the sound, like the sound effects and the voices, yeah, they're goofy, but they're also like, you're not going to forget them saying, "Come on, sucker," or like whatever, right? Like it's cheesy, but like you won't forget. You will definitely not forget. A little going back to something we just talked about as well. Volfeed is really out there. It is something.
The moment you start a credit in Volfeed, there's like this really crazy narrative, right? I don't even know what happens in a narrative. It flashes by really fast as you're like flying into whatever mothership. And it's like, it's really out the gate, this very sort of foreboding, overbearing sort of synthesizer sound, right? And it's so like poignant. And as you're playing the game, there's like a passive hum. It's a pervasive hum that like is always there. There's no like background music in the traditional sense. It's just like this It's like, oh my god, like what is this? Like it's like crazy,
Yeah,
right?
it ain't quit. Yeah, the first time I heard that level start jingle, that it's like it like smacks you in the face. It's like,
Perfect.
yo, oh my god, what is this? This is
Yeah, I
it's so off the wall. It's crazy.
yeah, that's the complete opposite of Elevator Action Returns sound design, by the way.
Yeah, we also mentioned this a little bit before, but like Raime's, like the you mentioned there's an alien that talks to you sometimes in between levels, and it just makes the weirdest. It's like Star Fox before Star Fox.
Yes, perfect. That's a great way of putting it.
It's like this weird ass looking Muppet thing, like something that'd be in like the bottom of Fraggle Rock.
Oh my
That
god,
it
that's so
is, and it's
true.
just like,
It's so true.
whoa, while like subtitled
Roof.
Japanese appears on the screen.
It's like, what is
And
going on?
it echoes really crazy too.
It really
It's
does.
really crazy.
Yeah, I was not expecting the sort of like these sounds to be coming from this game. At the end of the game, they're straight up just clear voice acting. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're speaking in Japanese, and there's like this whole narrative, right? And it's like, what is going on with this game? This like crazy talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could
so
get one of like, I don't know, 3 or 4 endings. I forget how many there are, but like you could I think I got the bad ending where like I die and then like her brother comes out to save me or something, and he dies too, or like they mutually shoot each other accidentally, or like I got like a
uh
really sad ass ending. And
yeah,
speaking of that sad ass ending, the song that plays in the credits of Raime's is out there. It's
it's
like
super
this
spacey.
outer
Yeah.
space. It's like this outer space, like imagine like an R&B ballad from the time, which would be 1988, but like very spacey synths, like they were singing about making love in space. That's the best way I could describe it. I don't know what else to say, but
I
like
can't come up with a better explanation than that, honestly.
it's really wild. It's
Yeah.
something.
It's cool, man. It's just yeah. It and whew, I don't know where to start with. I don't know where to go with that one. That was crazy.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about Arkanoid real quick, because it's like I always thought like the part of the reason why I was obsessed with that game when I was a kid was the fact that there was no music. I didn't
Mhm.
realize that at the time, but I realize that now. It's just the ping pong, the empty ping pong echoing in space.
Yeah.
Right? You have that jingle when you start the level or when you start a new life, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a game over jingle to start jingle.
Yeah, otherwise it's pretty silent.
It resounds too. Like the echo like permeates the space. I know I say that word a lot, but like yeah, it like there's almost like an ASMR like element to it. ASMR
Yeah.
before ASMR existed with like Arkanoid. But yeah, it's it really sticks with you. And like the sequel, which is also on here, Arkanoid Revenge of Doe, is the same way. I mean, it's like a bit more updated with the sound font, but like that too also has a some sort of like echo to it. And it's like, oh man, that's like it wouldn't hit you wouldn't think it would hit you that hard, right? But there is one more sequel that's on here, Arkanoid Returns, and that's pretty different, huh, in a way, huh, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so like you think you're playing Arkanoid, right? Ping pong, right? The stage start intro is a little more jazzy because it's like what 1997 or something or whatever that came out.
Something like that,
So
yes.
it's like yeah, so like you know it's more upbeat, it's more 90s. But as you start playing ping pong, an actual BGM starts creeping in. All of a sudden, you're like, "Whoa, this has music."
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I didn't know anything about this game before I played it. So I was like, so I hear this little like jingle, or not this jingle, but like this background like song. But the funny part is, it takes a while to kick in. So if you like die, like if you don't bounce that ball back and you restart another life, you're back to silence for like a few seconds or like whatever, right? So it's really funny if you hear the song for a little bit and then you get punked. It's like, I guess that's enough of that song.
Oh, you know what's funny about that actually? When I It's funny you say it that way, because when I played Breath of the Wild, I got to when I got to like I don't know, like the middle of the map, like the big open field or something where you see like some horses and shit for the first time. I heard a really wispy flute on the wind version of like the Zelda theme.
Yeah.
And I fucking died because a guardian killed me instantly. And then I never heard that song again.
That sounds
I
pretty
never
appropriate.
heard it again.
So now you're like questioning yourself if you even like heard it.
No, I heard it. I never even bothered to look it up or anything. I'm sure it exists out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But like, you know how the music is not music in that game. It's just
The
like
same,
here's
yeah.
a piano riff every so often, and here's a right.
Absolutely.
So like, I don't know how to like recreate the conditions to hear the Zelda song, but I never heard it again after in my 120 something hours of playing. Tell you that much.
Yeah, that game will do that to you. Yeah, that's a good comparison. That's a good comparison.
Anyway, but
that's funny.
So Taito, in their grand tradition of single screen action puzzle games, there's one called Don Doko Don, which doesn't get a whole. See, Vin's making a face right now already. He knows where I'm going. There's a Look, it's weird. I know we've been saying that a lot while talking about Zuntata's music, but it is just fucking weird. It's a weird game, and it has a weird song. Like, Bubble Bobble and, like, you know, the New Zealand story and the Fairyland story, they have those, like, cutesy pop tunes, right?
Yes.
Even Plump Pop does.
Plump Pop.
Plump Pop. But, like, Don Doko Don is, like, this is I don't know. It goes full weird. The main BGM in this game could easily be in Kadash. I have no idea why it's in Don Doko Don, but it's here.
Yeah, why is such a cutesy game like so like off the wall? I don't know, but like it's just the sound effects though. Like, where do we start?
Well, really, it's like because like your characters are gnomes, right? With a little hammer, and they just jump, but they make this very cutesy like when you jump. Every time you jump, that's not even the pitch. My throat just can't do a pitch like that. It's even higher pitched than that.
Should I try it?
Please no. Oh God, why did you ask? Why did you even ask me?
I didn't want to. I had to like lead up to it somehow.
It's something, man.
Yeah.
The chorus, quote unquote chorus of said BGM features like this time signature change and like Christmas bells come in.
Oh my God.
What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
What is this?
I don't know. I mean, it's weirdly appropriate if you think of it from like as being like a cartoon-ish sort of vibe. If that cartoon were crazy, maybe. But oh my God. Yeah. It's so weird. It's very strange. One question I had really quick though, do you think there's anything in particular that's led to the Zuntata's like brand persisting? I mean, they're over 40 years old, right? Practically by this point. So like, I mean, like even though like technically Square Enix like owns like this like Taito now, but they still use the Zuntata brand, right? Like, do you think there's like something that like sticks?
Yeah, there's something about it that is worthwhile, I guess, right? Like, I think most of the original members left after they got acquired.
Yeah.
And like, what was that, like 2005 or whatever, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so like I think a lot of it, but the Zuntata spirit lives on though. Like, I don't think they're any worse for like that. There's still it's still very good music that comes out of the studio, so
yeah, it's all still very experimental. So
like you heard the Ninja Savior Return of the Warriors, right? I mean, it's jamming. It's fucking hella good.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh my God.
Yo, right? It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're none the worse for the wear, I guess. One more thing I wanted to talk about is I already talked about Kadash a little bit earlier, but Rastan Saga as well. I think of these games together because those are the two late 80s games that just kind of just popped my kid brain, you know, and to like whatever the hell this like Rastan Saga actually has very strange sound effects, but to me, that's what every sound effect should sound like. There's just a part of my brain where it's like, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what this should sound like. When it's like, no, that's what nothing should sound like. Nothing sounds like this.
Well, video games can like deviate, right? But
I
it
mean,
deviates from what we would expect.
yeah, for sure. But like, also one more thing, I guess, just as an kind of as an aside, there's something I really, really enjoy about Japanese interpretations of Western fantasy.
Yes.
Is just I don't mean shit like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, which is like very Japanese, like monster designs and stuff. I mean stuff like Rastan Saga and Kadash and like Capcom's Willow or like
Yes.
Magic Sword even or Neo Geo game like Magician Lord or Cross Swords, like shit like that. Really, I don't know what it is about that stuff. Even if you want to go to like early From Software like King's Field or stuff like, even that does it for me. There's something about what, because I said the From Software, I'm being a From Software hipster.
I've been out there. They made games for souls. Oh my god.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry, we're old and we played From Software games before 2010. Sorry, kids.
I want the Elden Ring Armored Core crossover.
Yeah, don't even talk to me if you haven't beat Lost Kingdoms 2, okay? Like, don't. But no, man, like I really like those motifs, and Zuntata's music and sound effects in those games just set it on a different from your usual swords and sorcery done by a Japanese developer. It just really sets it apart. So when you play something like Rastan, which is a great game, by the way, I'm glad it's on here. It has to be on here. It's a classic. But just excellent stuff. That really set a standard in my head that probably still exists.
They're bold, man. Yeah, they really take after like bold sort of Western media. There's a little bit of Conan in there, right? But
there's a lot of Conan. It is Conan. It is Conan. Do you know how much Japanese stuff ripped off Conan the Barbarian in the 80s? Holy shit. Just as much as they ripped off Alien. Like, it's wild.
Uh-huh. Can you really blame them, though? I mean, those were, like, pretty poignant.
No, of course not. No, I don't blame them at all. We should have ripped them off more, actually. We shouldn't have left all the ripping off to them. They did it better than us. Mm-hmm. So, speaking of that, actually, I don't know why I keep doing shitty segues. I'm not speaking of that at all. I don't know why I said that.
Speaking of which.
Speaking of Zuntata and stuff in general, there's something here. There's a trio of games that we are just going to call the Progressive Suite because we don't know what else to call them, because these are the absolute height of early 90s-ness. Goddamn. Like we've always said between us that if you want to know what the 90s is like, play Killer Instinct. It is the ultimate 90s game, and largely that's still true. But if you want to know what the early 90s was like, there's 3 games here. 3 shmups, really. Metal Black, RayForce, and Darius Gaiden. All 3 of these games are cut from a very similar cloth, a very similar psychedelic mushroom, probably LSD, illegal in Japan drugs cloth.
I was waiting for the drug reference. Yeah, psychedelic. I was bracing for that one.
These are the only games that are not dare stuff on the beginning of your winners don't do drugs and shit like that. These games have made me want to do drugs. I've never done drugs, but if I'm going to do them, I'm going to do mushrooms and play RayForce.
Man, that would be something, wouldn't it? I mean, we don't do that stuff, but that would be something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, where do we start? I don't even know which one of these things to start. 3 to start with.
Let's start with RayForce. RayForce, because I'll just say it. It's my favorite. It's Taito's best shmup.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best shmups of all time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's pretty unbeatable. Another shmup, probably my second favorite shmup of all time, Dragon Spirit. It does a thing that's like, a lot of other shmups do this, where you have like a missile attack on the ground, and then you have like a an air attack. I'm talking about top down like vertical shmups, not like games where you get a missile like Darius or
well, Gradius, really, if you get down to it.
No, vertical.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Or like Xevious or something like that, right?
Xevious really pioneered that, right? Yeah, that was
right,
like the big
right.
thing.
I guess you can say Xevious is the progenitor. I always go. My mind always goes Dragon Spear, but whatever.
Yeah, well, it would go Dragon Spear.
This is the best implementation of that idea I've ever seen because it's a lock-on. It's so much fun because you have that cursor, you put it over it, you don't have to worry about shooting. It's like you lock them all on, almost like Afterburner or G-Lock. You lock on as many as you can and you blow them all away.
It's super empowering, right? Yeah, it's like really fun to use. It's like seamless too. It's like it's not a pain in the ass like some lock-ons can be. It just happens, man. It's like very brisk. It's very nice.
Yeah, the environmental storytelling too is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
Shmups are typically good at this, whether it's like R-Type or Ikaruga, I guess is kind of praised for this as well, right?
Oh yeah, Ikaruga.
Yeah, but like this is my favorite in that regard, just because like, man, I don't even know what's happening all the time, but like you're flying over the earth and stuff, guys, stuff.
Yeah.
While the most wild music plays.
It's so jamming, man. Oh my god. Jeez, like when I was streaming some RayForce, I think you were saying like stage 2, please. Yeah, I'm like, so good.
I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait till you got I couldn't wait for him to get to stage 2 because that's one of my favorite songs of all time. It's called G. But yeah, it's stage 2.
We took care of G.
It's not we took care of G. It's what is it? I've already taken care of G. That's what it is. It's not
I've already taken care of G.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was looking for in my brain. But I was sidelined by RayForce. No, man, it's just incredible music. Like if you think I don't know, if you like 90s electronica, like the earlier stuff, like I don't know, like early BT. Or like, honestly, it's on that level. Future Sound of London, if you like early stuff from them, Orbital, that's what you're going to get from the soundtrack. Not that it's like a trance soundtrack or anything. It's very, like I said, it's very progressive. It's very tuneful. Not that the other stuff isn't, but I think anyone who has heard that kind of music knows what I mean. It hits that same part of your cold dead heart. It will waken it up again.
Yeah, it really will. Like it draws you in. It's super jamming. And speaking of environmental storytelling, these stages are chock full of mechanical details. Like you're flying in through spaces that are really lined with like machines all around you. So there's a bit of a really enveloping sense around you as you're progressing through these stages, which is not what a lot of shmups necessarily do, at least not to this level. And whenever you like beat a boss, the transition to the next stage is like completely seamless. Like you're actually like flying out of a tunnel, you're like going to like another part of another area or like whatever, right? It's not like, oh, we're gonna fade to black and take you to the next stage or whatever. You're just like you're constantly going places. Right?
Yeah.
So like
it has a sense of movement that you don't typically get from this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just it's so cool. Like it's just great.
Yeah.
The game is just excellent. And it might be, I don't know, like I said, might be my favorite shmup. The music though, it's gotta be my favorite shmup soundtrack.
Man,
it's gotta be.
Woo!
I mean, I would like to. Look, I know that's hard to say, but I think it's better than Gradius 3. I think it's better than Gleylancer.
Ooh.
Gradius 3 might be the only one that I might say could get there for me. It's better than Gleylancer. It's better than Raiden. It's better than Super R-Type, something I love.
Man, you're blindsiding me with these takes. I mean, I don't disagree necessarily. I just wasn't expecting any of this.
I mean, sorry. I really do. Like, I really do feel that way.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think you're wrong to feel that way at all. It's cool, man. I want to do one more line regarding the avant-garde nature of this game, which is to say, I don't know the premise, but I feel like we may be going into Earth, but robotic. So I feel like I might have blown up Earth at the end of my run. I'm not really sure.
Well, I mean, when we talk about, well, fuck it. I mean, let's just go there now. I'm pretty sure you cut the Earth in half at the end of Metal Black. I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I don't know why Taito is kind of keen on this sort of like weird Pyrrhic victory sort of approach.
They like downer endings.
They do.
They really like downer endings. So,
Yeah,
like,
they
as we
do.
just talked about with RayForce, you can get like really shitty endings.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like, oh god, that happened. And you know what the thing about RayForce? I forgot to mention this. When, well, like, her and her brother both shot each other, or whatever happened, where they both died. You have to sit there and watch the credits while they're both dead on the floor.
They're both dead. His fights on the ground. Yeah.
You have to sit there and look at what you did wrong.
Yeah, you really do. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, Metal Black. I think you're kind of more into this game than I am. But
God.
It's not that I don't like it, but you have a certain affinity for it.
What I really remembered it for was the sort of very strange audio design, right? So like this stage 1 song is like one of the most like psychedelic things I've ever heard. It's like not even really, it doesn't fit. It's like this echoey sort of new age number it's like the stage 1 shmup song is almost supposed to like get you going, but this is like I don't even know, like I'm like meditating or something. Like what is this?
Well, a lot of the music, like, think about when you get to stage 4 with the Metroids, right? Yes, this game is Metroids, not literally, but they may as well be.
Nintendo.
What the hell is that? It's just
know.
like pings and like warbling in space. It's just kind of like sometimes it's completely silent, and then other times like ooh or something. Not even a person going ooh, but it's just like these very like echoey. Is that like is someone playing Arkanoid in the far distance and the sound the ping pong it's coming towards them? I don't know, man.
I think I would have preferred someone going ooh because at least that would have been like comprehensible. But I can't comprehend anything that's going on in this game. I mean, I like it, but like, I just have no idea what is going on. It's got like, I feel like there's like mechanical graveyards. Maybe there's definitely amorphous space with amoebas. Maybe I don't really know.
What about the first stage where it's like, I don't know, there's like an aircraft carrier stuck in the sand, and then it gets lifted up by a giant crab?
Yeah,
starts happening. Oh, okay. So like the weirdest. I mean, okay, the second stage is called Cry for the Moon. Yes, that's the name of the stage, Cry for the Moon. The background is the moon, but then, like, it culminates in a smaller moon coming out of the actual moon, but that moon is not a moon at all. It's actually an egg, and from that egg hatches this giant mecha dragon that you fight. What the fuck? What is that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. The more I think, the less I think about it, the better. Or else my brain's gonna blow up on the air. There's gonna be like a miniature brain like coming out of my brain, like on like I don't know. It's something.
This is not a game so much as like a progressive art rock suite with like visuals. It's like a visual album. No, more enhanced by the fact that they show you the names of the songs as they come on.
Yeah,
in the like bottom right corner. Yeah, it's like jukebox style in the corner. They really want you to know.
You're gonna cry for that moon, baby. It's like, what the
hell my god.
And to further play into the nonsensical nature of this game, the track screen actually says Project Gun Frontier 2. And I'm like, I don't think that's anything to do with Gun Frontier.
Gun Frontier is a shmup from what, like a few years before it, maybe like a couple years before, maybe even the year before. Yeah. Yes, Gun Frontier is 1990, Metal Black is 91. So maybe it started life as a sequel to Gun Frontier, but this has nothing to do with Gun Frontier. I mean, what the fuck?
I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to say it. Maybe. I don't know.
Gun Frontier my fucking ass. They're just making shit up. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I don't know why they bothered saying this. I mean, what I never actually thought about this before, but like, why Metal Black as a name?
Artistic bullshit.
I never understood it. Why is it called
artistic bullshit? And speaking of artistic bullshit, the way the bosses explode is insane. So like you're shooting like some alien thing, and then all of a sudden it's dead, right? So it cuts to a silhouette of it, but in the silhouette it's this like rushing crazy like lava pattern, and then it goes whoosh across the entire screen, and then like really fast, and it slowly slows down to reveal what looks like a map of the world.
Yeah, I was trying to decipher this myself. I didn't, in my initial plays, I didn't see the world, but I'm like staring at somewhere. I'm like, maybe it's a map of the world. Maybe it's not. It's got.
I mean, it doesn't exactly look like continents, right? But it kind of does.
It does. Maybe they just like took a map of the world and like ran like Photoshop filters before Photoshop was a thing. I don't know.
Yes, Photoshop filters in 1991. Yes. Man,
they had access to a prototype of Photoshop.
Oh my god, man, just ridiculous.
Oh god,
it's the most artistic shmup I've ever seen. I don't know if that makes it good, but it sure as hell is an experience. I'll say that much. I mean, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like it's art for art's sake in a way that I really, really appreciate, I guess.
I think it's actually playable, though. We often use the pejorative something to do while listening to the music, and this is not that, right?
No, it's good. It's a good game. I just,
Yeah, I just don't know what is going on, but...
It's definitely the weakest of these three, though. As just purely a video game.
From a game, yes.
It's probably the most interesting on an artistic level, but as a game, I'm
going to start crying for the moon tonight.
You will never cry for the moon.
Don't tell me
you will never cry for the moon.
For. I'm crying right now.
The McDonald's Big Mac moon will cry for you.
Ooh, I'll take it.
You don't remember
what?
That, okay, never mind. You don't remember that, but you don't remember the mascot, like the Moonhead.
I remember.
He sang about Big Macs tonight or something like that. Or
I remember it. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay, one more here in this progressive suite is Darius Gaiden. Now, Darius is obviously a known entity, but when it got into the 90s, oh baby, they did some stuff.
Don't you mean Darius? I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up. I ain't saying that shit. It's Darius.
But the fans are gonna judge us.
Good. I want them to judge us. But, I want them to judge us.
God, Gaiden's such a weird game. I think this is one of my favorite Zuntata soundtracks. It really has a sort of very weird synthesis of vocal delivery and like echoing experimental instruments. Like even from the get-go, like in stage one, it's like there's this female vocalist saying like eyes, like just randomly, and I'm like, what? Like, what? I'm like, am I actually hearing lyrics? Are these lyrics? I don't even know.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they're lyrics. I think they're just. I don't want to call them. I don't want to call them Gregorian chants either. But I mean, like they're just like. But they're like. She's just like so far or whatever. I don't even know. Yeah, but then that leads into one of our favorite sound effects of all time. Because when you get to the boss, typically everyone knows the Darius, and you get to the boss, it has the warning sound that where every game has a different siren.
Yeah,
this forgoes a siren, and it's just a lady going and it's like, what? That's not a warning. You're lulling me to sleep.
A huge is approaching. And I'm like, what?
Although I will say though, and I've said this before, I don't usually get super impressed by like first levels and stuff like that. I understand games don't make a good first impression on you. I always look for the deeper stuff that's just kind of person I am, whether it's like I'm listening to an album or playing a video game.
Yeah.
So it's not usually stage one or track one for me. Darius Gaiden is an exception. It makes such a crazy impression. I can't help it. Like everything from the music we just talked about, from the motif of the level itself, where you go into like what looks like a classic Darius motif in the middle there, and you kind of come out of it. And then the boss. Oh my god. At the time, it is really hard to say how impressive this was. So it's a fully, everyone knows Darius bosses are fish. This is a fully 3D like Barracuda.
Yes, yes, it
made out
is.
of polygons and stuff, and it introduces itself on the screen by like slapping at something with its tail, like some pillar in the background.
Yeah, there's a lot of polygonal messes that fly to your direction. That's right. Yeah. It's like really
And it's
crazy.
wild, and it's like whoa, and then you start shooting this thing, and it's a boss shmup, it's a shmup boss like any other, but like, god damn, what an impression! And then
Yeah,
when you kill it, it just flies into pieces like sushi, just
and the camera too. This is crazy talk because I mean, like like Darius and Darius 2 are no slouches in the visual department, but they really get extravagant. Like this is like you don't have that wide that triply long monitor or whatever it is, right? So this is like a standard like 4x3 like game, right? But they trick it up so freaking much. It's like
yeah.
it's like eye candy, and I think it's aged well too. Even though I mean, like it's coming up on 30 years old. LOL. But I mean, no, it's aged well, man. Good.
What's your favorite? Is it Metal Black?
I think I have to
These
say
three games.
I think I have to say RayForce mechanically is the most solid of the three. I think I have to agree with you on that one. But like, I think for sheer art house shenanigans, it's got to be Metal Black. I don't know if that's the best mechanically solid game.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, look, but it's cool. It does have cool mechanics. It has that cool, like, I don't know. I forgot to mention this because there's so much bullshit in that game. You collect like molecules that are just floating around in midair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
And that becomes like your gun power. There's no other power ups in the game, which I actually think is really cool. I often think shmups are over power upped. Like in general, sometimes, especially in that era. Yeah, I kind of feel that way sometimes. Especially especially with like the compile stuff on console where you have like the three things and you can mix and match. I don't really need that.
Yeah, you are not an LS person like at
all.
No,
sorry. No thank you. Xanac, no thanks.
Oh yeah, Xanac, yeah, that's right.
No,
I tend to lean a little
you.
more towards that, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, not for me. So I really appreciate the simplicity of Metal Black, but no, out of these three, it's the worst. It's definitely RayForce for me, as I said. Then Darius Gaiden is really not far behind, because Darius Gaiden is just excellent.
Agreed. Yeah.
How do you look back on these as a piece of history, though, of like the early 90s?
I mean,
like, because I really feel like they're so evocative of a time period that it's very important today.
Yeah, they really epitomize the sort of like craft of the time, right? So like they really had an art direction and then they like go whole hog into it, like really far deep into like the direction, right? So like to a certain degree, they're like sort of like a time capsule per se, but like I think they like transcend their time, if you ask me.
I think so as well, but like it's important to note that us, speaking as two old people who were alive when these actually came out, right? These were not seen as radical games. This type of shit was like this type of like extremely upscale science fiction was like in complete lockstep with the zeitgeist of the 90s. Like, we played these games and we did not bat a fucking eyelash. Like, this was not weird to us at all. No. Now, when we look back on it, it's like, okay, yeah, they're dated or they're very of the time. It didn't feel that way at the time. It felt as fresh and modern as could possibly be, which, of course, everything gets dated eventually, right? But it's like, it's almost like, I don't know, finding a vintage cassette tape of like, I don't know, did you ever do the ghetto thing when you were a kid, like tape songs off the radio? Like,
I did that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, because like, you can't buy a CD of everything, right? So like,
I did that.
It's almost like finding one of those tapes and like hearing like a few commercials from like 1992. It gives you like that unmistakable air of the era. And in that way, it is timeless because it is a time capsule. So that's just... It's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man.
The master of this, the master of the style. Just one more thing. The master of the style was clearly Taito, but other shmups of the era also hit this note, whether it's Last Resort, the Neo Geo game Last Resort.
The very striking game, by the way, yeah.
Yeah. Orias, also known as Zex, one of your personal favorites, right? Even Glaylancer, like, nail many parts of this aesthetic we're talking about. So there was just something in the air with early 90s shmups, I guess. It just... it hits something.
Something in the air or something psychedelic. Maybe a
Something in
combination thereof.
something in the mushrooms.
And speaking of which, all those 3 examples you played, they're on Switch now. Arcade Archives, baby, and some such.
Yeah.
So
if you want to play Last Resort or Rise or Glaylancer, you can play them all today. Man, what an era we live in.
right, it's so crazy. Well, do you remember back when we did like a Wii Virtual Console for Glaylancer, like sight unseen? Do you remember that?
Yeah. So I'm like, sure, I'll play it. We're adventurous,
cool.
right? And it blew us away. I love
So
Glaylancer.
Cool. So cool. Yeah, it's a good time. Yeah. And yeah, man, again, like they really took that 2D/2.5D thing and they went for it. So like
yeah, they really did. With the some of them look like a lot of like flat planes, especially like in RayForce or whatever, but it really works. They really work it with the hardware that they had. That's also part of the 90s-ness, right? They were trying to get to that 3D space. They were not there yet, but anyway, we need a break. We're going to do some shrooms and we'll be right back.
Psychedelia, baby.
All right, we're high now. No, we are not. We do not do shrooms, kids, or any other psychedelics. That shit would, like, in all seriousness, that shit will freak me out. There's no way I can do shit like that. Like, there's no way.
Me too.
No way.
I might like rainbows, but
I'm gonna put you on blast right now for the people. You are wearing a tie-dye shirt as we record this, so I mean,
am.
Yeah,
I am perfectly in sync with the Metal Black. I am cosplaying Metal Black.
Real quick, we wanted to talk about some other shmups real quick, because this is a fairly shmup heavy thing, as any arcade compilation of these eras would be. So there's some other ones. Real quick, there's one called Scramble Formation that I really like.
Yeah.
It's a super cool shmup. It has this cold, weird future vibe to it. Almost like if anyone out there has been adventurous and loaded up the family computer Nintendo Switch Online app and has played Route 16 Turbo, which I recommend you do because it's a great game. It kind of reminds me of that. It has this cold, hard-edged, futuristic vibe that's like weird and kind of fun.
Yeah.
And Zuntata's really fucked up strange music actually really fits this game. It's not a mismatch in a weird way like it is for other stuff. It actually really fits this vibe for once in their lives.
The imagery is so stark. I think it's like an abstraction of like Tokyo. It looks like you're like kind of like going around like a map. It seems.
Well,
I mean, it's like.
Do you remember what the U.S. name for this game is?
I don't.
Oh, it's Tokyo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Tokyo spelled with the I. It's like Tokio. Yeah, but it's called. The game is called Tokyo here. So
yeah. Why not Scramble Formation?
Because I actually don't know why. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You really like a thing called Halley's Comet. We have talked about Halley's Comet a number of times in our endeavors, but if you got anything new to say about Halley's Comet, go right ahead. But
I don't have a whole lot that's new, but this game is crazy. Like, Halley's Comet is like the antagonist. I don't think that's how it works, dog.
No. Halley's Comet is here to fuck you up.
It like opens up and you fly inside a Halley's Comet and you're like shooting out turrets. But the most important part is the game over screen, because when you like lose all your lives, it like shows the Earth or whatever planet you're defending. It like scrolls up and it like blows up. It says game over.
It's
Halley's Comet fucked up the Earth. It's so stupid.
It's actually a good game. It's a wild game. It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Tatsujin, aka Truxton in the US, is here as well. This is a Toa Plan game, but it was originally published by Taito, so I guess they really wanted it on here because people associate with the name. Taito did a lot of publishing of Toa Plan games back in the day, so it's just kind of something they wanted to do, I guess. Wow. If anyone wants to know where Raiden got their inspiration from, Jesus, man. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Oh
kind of
boy.
shameless, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Raiden tries different aesthetics, I guess. But this is a very weird, stark sort of like vibe to it, though. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This game's crazy.
Probably because this is like the hardest shmup ever made.
Oh my god.
This game is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'll be admit it. I was being an asshole. I was watching this guy stream Tatsujin and I thought he was just sucking ass. So I was making look, I always make funny comments in your chat anyway. I kind of, rib you or whatever. It's just funny, right?
Yeah,
But
of
like I
course.
really thought but in the inside I thought, wow, he's really fucking this up. And then I played it myself and I'm like, "Oh shit, this game is really hard." Oh my god, he was not joking.
Is this where I get to say talk shit, get lit? You weren't talking shit per se.
Yeah, talk shit, get hit, or like whatever
Talk shit,
permutation
get
you like.
hit? Yeah, either way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No,
Oh
dude,
my
no.
God.
I'm glad I didn't talk shit because like I got fucked up. I didn't get any farther than you did.
I
So,
don't know if I beat stage 1. I might beat in stage 1. I don't know, but
well, it's a continuous game where
yeah.
there's no like
Oh,
stop.
you're right.
Well, I guess they do the.
Yeah.
I guess they do the thing where the total plan thing of like, okay, you're refueling, stop here and get some bonus
Refueling,
points
yeah.
or whatever, right?
Oh
Then
my God.
I guess the only other shmup I want to mention here is the aforementioned Gun Frontier, because this game is actually really cool. Like, it has nothing to do with Metal Black, but it's really
I was
cool.
gonna say the predecessor to Metal Black. Beat me to it, damn it.
Oh, I mean, sorry. Then tell us about Gun Frontier.
God, I don't even know how to really start, but like it's what I wasn't expecting is that the player ships are like literally made of pistols. It's like I didn't expect to be so literal. It's literally a gun frontier.
Yeah.
So crazy.
And I was saying, like, okay, if Metal Black still had things made out of pistols, but it was really avant-garde and strange, okay, yes, then it could be Gun Frontier too. You can't just say that and then have like big crabs lifting up aircraft carriers to start I mean, come on.
Right? Yeah, and there's a kind of weirdly quote unquote Wild Westy vibe to this game too. Hence like pistols and stuff, right? I mean, that is pretty cool. Like there's a nice sort of like setup, like the intro's got the sepia sort of vibe. It's like, but
yeah, that's cool.
It's also really hard. It's like I don't think I got very far. But the checkpoints are kind of rough too. Yeah.
Okay. It's time. It is time to talk Bubble Bobble. Not Bubble Bobble, but Bubble Symphony and Bubble Memories, the two mid-90s sequels. So, on our previous creative endeavor, I tried to detail the Bubble Bobble lineage, and I failed miserably. So let me see if I've improved any since then. Okay?
Let's see if you practiced your lineage.
Yes. Okay. So
you're dreading this, aren't you?
Oh god, I hate this. So there's Bubble Bobble. And then there's Rainbow Islands, the story of Bubble Bobble 2.
That is correct.
Right?
Yes.
However, there is also an NES game called Bubble Bobble 2, which has nothing to do with any of this. And then Bubble Symphony is also called The Story of Bubble Bobble 2.
That is correct.
Why? Well, I'm asking. I didn't ask that. Forget it. Strike that from the record. And then there's Parasol Stars for TurboGrafx 16. That says The Story of Bubble Bobble 3. Then
yes, it does.
There is Bubble Memories here, which also says The Story of Bubble Bobble 3. Did I do this correctly, which means wrong?
I think you're more or less correct. However, I don't know about Parasol Stars placement, partially because I don't know Parasol Stars. placement.
It says the story of Bubble Bobble 3. I'm 100% sure of that.
I know it says that. I mean like the game's quote unquote internal lore. I don't know where it is, but yes, that is correct. That's
I don't fucking fuck that. Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm just telling you what the games say on the title screen.
Yes, you're correct. That's what they say.
Okay.
But actually,
I don't know about anything else. As far as like the actual timeline goes, we can be here till midnight. Fuck that.
It may be unwise to try to talk about that.
Anyway, these games aren't that good.
Yeah, cutting to the chase. Yeah. We kind of differed a bit, interestingly enough, with Bubble Symphony, in 1994, almost like, is that like 8 years after the original Bubble Bobble? Yeah, 8 years, they decided to make sequels. I'm like, okay. But this game is crazy and overloaded, dude. Like, there's like 4 playable, like, bubble dinosaurs. Like, for some reason, it's like, okay. And they have different stats, and they have different bubble blowing distances. Like, I don't know why that's a thing. And depending on like which door you take, you go to different worlds, and some of these worlds have title references. There's seriously like a Kiki Kai Kai world in there. And like all of a sudden, like you have like a Space Invaders like gun or something like that. Okay,
so, no. Hold the fuck on. A Space Invaders gun?
I don't remember. I think that it might have been like an enemy, maybe. There's definitely Space Invaders in there. I feel like, I don't know if I had the gun or not, but
oh my god. Oh my fucking god.
And just to cap it all off, when you actually beat it, which apparently it was a surprise, it shows all these characters. Like, it shows all the title references at the end of the game. Like, just like straight up. And I'm like, I'm seeing like Kiki Kai Kai, I'm seeing like Darius, I'm seeing like Space Invaders. I cannot
believe you beat this game. I cannot beleave you did that.
Yeah,
you actually managed to sit through this.
I actually like looking at this game in terms of playing it. Because these backgrounds are really well, like they went for like this really crazy aesthetic in each area. They went for it, so it is something to look at. I don't know if it really goes past that though.
It sure as hell isn't something to listen to, because like it has the most obnoxious circus music I've ever heard.
Oh my god.
Like, look, we've talked about Zuntata. They know how to do the popcraft if they want to. Bubble Bobble, Puzzle Bobble, etc. Even Don Doko Don, right? Yes. This is just obnoxious. This is flat out annoying to listen to.
It also doesn't stop.
I can't take it. Yeah, it doesn't stop. The whole game is a lot. Like, even as you were just going over it, I'm like, my head hurts. I can't with this game. I cannot with Bubble Symphony. I'm sorry. Like,
it's overloaded.
It's a lot. It's the definition of an overloaded sequel. Now, look, I don't think most people will feel this way. I think if you were to pick this up and you've never played these games like I hadn't before this, and you were a Bubble Bobble, like, really into it, I think you would really like these. I just can't, man. It's too much. Also, Super Drunk is really pissed off in this intro. Yeah. He's like hella like, he's like raising his fist with like fire in the background. Like, he is pissed. He's fucking mad.
Yeah, Drunk is like the big bad of like Bubble Bobble for context, but yeah, I don't know why they's named that.
The elfie thing with the cane, I guess, is the best way you could say it.
Yeah, of course.
Except the big one. So
except big, yeah. This is an overloaded game. I like looking at it even now, but
I don't like to look at it. You can select like, well, I'm sure you said you can select like 4 different characters, and I'm like, why? It ruins. It's too much. Well, that is one thing that Bubble Memories gets right. They don't let you select 4 different characters anymore. You just Bub or Bob.
It's back to Bub and Bob,
Bubblin' or Bobblin' or what is it?
Bubbling. I'm questioning my judgment. I don't know.
I don't know anymore. My brain.
I wasn't ready for this.
I'm sorry. Let's just get to this right now. Why? I will never in my life understand why they did back-to-back sequels in back-to-back years. We haven't made a Bubble Bobble game forever, and then you're going to do 94 Bubble Symphony, 95 Bubble Memories. They're not they're not too dissimilar from each other. Why did they think this was a good idea?
I don't
I can't
know.
imagine why they did this. Why didn't they just put all their ideas in one? Well, I figured they would have done that with Memories, right? But then here's Symphony.
You don't suppose maybe like they had two games in sort of concurrent planning, maybe? I mean, but they didn't want to overload Symphony even more. But at the
Oh
same
my
time, it's
god.
weird.
Well, Symphony is already. I don't get it.
Don't think about it.
I've never understood. That's why I mixed them up for years. I like for years I didn't know like which one came first, Symphony or Memories, and I just fucked it up just now. So like
The question is, would it really have been that bad to call it Bubble Bobble 2, call it Bubble Symphony? Is that really that bad for branding?
just call it Bubble Bobble 2. No one remembers that there's an NES game. Just call it Bubble Bobble 2.
Well, there's so many NES offshoots at the time anyway, so who gives a damn, right? It doesn't really matter. So it's like
But even if they did that, why Bubble Bobble 2 and 3 in back-to-back years? It still doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
Anyway,
planning's weird.
I guess I like Bubble Memories more because it's stripped back. The music is still obnoxious to a high degree, but like there's not all the character shenanigans. The backgrounds are insane. They're like pre-rendered,
so
like they're so wild. Like they almost remind you of like you ever play Super Buster Brothers where they go around the world, right? And they have like digitized versions of Paris and like
yes,
you know what I mean? Like that's
I
kind of what it reminds me of, but like weirder shit than that. There's like I think one of the bosses was like a frog. It's like a digitized frog in the background.
About right. Well, you know what got me though? Like there's seriously like a straight up like digitized giant spider in one of the backgrounds, and I'm like, yo, why is there a giant digitized spider in the background? That's creepy. Like, why are you doing that? Oh, look at Bubble Symphony over that. I mean, goddamn, that's cursed, dude. That's hella cursed.
It is. It is, but it's just like,
oh my god, I don't want to look at that. It looks like some freaking 90s, it's like some Windows 95 screensaver or some shit. Like, why do I want to look at that? It's the most cursed screensaver of all time.
Oh,
spider.
Oh my god, okay, I didn't know the spider offended you. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
Yeah, but this game
goddamn.
I think this game's kind of sloppy because there's like slowdown, which I mean it to a pretty decent degree actually, and like man, and like for some reason if a charge shot you get turned into a giant bubble. They force you to do this giant bubble during certain bosses. It's like
I had no idea there was a giant bubble you could charge until I read his notes.
Yeah, well,
there's a giant bubble.
Yeah, you can charge shot because they want to be like Mega Man. Wait, what?
Yes, everything that has you fucking. I want to say really mean things.
But yeah,
this I want to abuse you on the air.
Yeah, over the internet. You reach over. It's not just Mega Man. But it's overloaded. I think there are water filled areas that like you can like swim for some reason. And I'm like, I don't know why that's there. And I'm like,
it's too much. These are too much. Even though Memories cuts it back, it's too much. They're too much for me. Like I said, I really think other people will get more out of these, like you did, obviously. I just don't. One, they're no replacement for the original, which, like, look, if you're going to do a 90s sequel, you better at least bring something to the table, and I guess they did. I just don't like what they brought. By the way, do you like how both of these games still use the same crappy, like, Taito 8-bit font for, like, the intro? And it says, like, it's, like, really crappy English, too? Yeah. Like, crappier than usual?
Now begins the journey into the land of some such or whatever, right? I mean, like, yeah, I don't remember the text, but, like, I guess they thought that was part of the visual motif, I guess, but...
I guess so, man, but, like...
Yeah. So I guess the question for you is, why a circus motif for 2 games?
I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. It's weird. It seems almost... Bubble Bobble already has its own vibe, right? Like, I don't know why they thought they needed to bring all these wacky 90s... Oh, we have crazy pre-rendered backgrounds now, or, like,
Cursed
screensavers, apparently, according to you. Or where they do, like, a, in Windows 95, you do the slide puzzle. They turn the picture into a slide puzzle, and then, yeah.
God damn. Yes, the slide puzzle, thank you.
Look, I don't think these are the worst games in the world. I definitely wasn't like looking forward to playing them because I kind of always avoided them for a reason, and now I know why. So like whatever, it's not a big disappointment to me, but Bubble Symphony and Bubble Memories are games that I will never go back to Bubble Symphony. Bubble Memories I might play every so often.
Every 2-3 months. I don't know why I said a number.
Okay, thanks. Okay, mark it down. August 17th. I mean, I'm gonna be playing Bubble Memories. Bubble Symphony? Memories.
Oh, you've been buzzing yourself.
Oh, okay. I gotta be honest. I really want to stop talking about these, like forever. Let's circle back to the Arkanoids because we talked a little bit about them, but like you got really bamboozled. Like we opened our boxes at the same time and we started playing these, and like he has his head in his hands already, and like I don't know, you got like really bamboozled by Arkanoid for some reason.
I kept dying. I kept game overing on like stage 1. And then, I mean, it took me like 50-20 minutes to beat stage 1, then I did it again, like over credit feeding stage 2, and this asshole didn't say a damn word, so I had no idea what was going on. I thought he was being MLG and like hella plowing through these stages while I was like suffering or whatever, right? Because my expectation was that he was going to say, oh, I'm also like sucking ass at Arkanoid as well, but he didn't say a goddamn thing, so like I'm like complaining, I'm like dying over and over again, and I mean, it made me feel like an ass, but...
Oh my god. I was doing better than that, granted, but it's not like I was doing great. These games, I was used to our piddly shit American difficulty. Let me tell you, like this is a workout for me too. Like, I just didn't know you sucked ass at Arkanoid in general. Like, I didn't really know, like, that wasn't really your forte, I guess. But like,
I love playing Arkanoid. I just, being console warrior life at the time. I mean, I did the NES version a lot. I didn't really get a lot of experience with this knob or whatever, right? I mean, I did some, but like not that much. But so that's a bit of an adjustment. The ball speed's so fast, man. The balls go hella fast. So it's like, I don't know. I don't have like godlike reflexes. I mean, I'm crusty. I'm a curmudgeon, dude. But like, I don't know. It's hard. It's a lot.
It really is. Sometimes I just need like I said, Tatsujin is like one of the hardest fucking games I played in a long time. Like Truxton is like really our US version is a markedly easier, apparently. It's funny, actually. Yeah. Steve really likes Truxton. I guess he had a cabinet around growing up or something that. And when I played Tatsujin on here, I came to him and I was like, bro, either you're like a child savant or something, because this is the hardest game I played in a long time. This is ridiculous.
Yes, monotone gent, freaking Truxton savant.
Yeah, like I didn't know. So I'm like, either Truxton is easier or like you are the best gamer I've ever heard of, like, or something.
So I actually looked into this to some degree, and I think the loops got like switched around. I think they did musical chairs with like things or whatever. I don't know the details, but like,
no, I think what happened is just that they just made loop 1 for us easier. And like basically loop 1 for them is basically loop 2 for us. So yes, they're starting out on like a higher shit. Yeah.
That's correct. That's what it was. Yeah. But
yeah, so it's a rough one, man. But it's a rough one. I was not prepared for our Arkanoids to be I tell you what.
I love playing them. I don't mind, but moving right along, we do have we got some sequels. Arkanoid Do It Again.
Worst pun of all time.
It's pretty silly. I didn't even know that like the big battle's named DOH for a while.
Want to hear my console warrior story? I didn't know that till like the 1997 SNES game.
That was me too.
It's also called Do It Again. Yeah.
Well, how are you supposed to get to the end of that game? Like, that's too hard. So right?
How the hell would you ever see Do?
Yeah, I never saw Do until the Super Nintendo cover. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, I don't know. I like this game a lot too. I couldn't get as far, but like, it's got some gimmickry. It's got like branching paths depending on what direction you go to after you beat a stage.
Taito has branching paths? What? Oh
Darius
my
got branching
god.
paths. Yeah, but like putting in this game, I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. But like, I don't know. What do you feel this really is like mechanically that different from like the first, or is it kind of like an expansion? I mean, it feels pretty
As
similar.
a as a next year sequel, as sequels go in the 80s, yeah, I think this is like very cool. Do you like how Zuntata like made the jingle more Zuntata-y? They just like and they like really amped it up. It's
Yeah,
like they
it's
put their
yeah.
Zuntata sprinkle on it.
The Zuntata sprinkle trademark.
Yeah. Zuntata sprinkles. I did like a thing with my hand, like I'm salting something. I'm like,
I don't think Zuntata sprinkles would sprinkle just the way you would expect them to. There'd probably be some avant-garde like sparkles or something.
I thought you were gonna say there'd be mushrooms.
Avant-garde mushrooms, yes.
Yes. No, I feel like this is a worthy like sequel. And like I said, especially for the time, like they really stepped it up. Like it's obviously all new levels, right? I mean, it's all it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
needs to be.
Yeah.
But like the power-ups are like really different too. I don't know. I think this is like a much better thing than the original.
You think it's better than the original? Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I remember like a crazy multi-ball. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
they
so
when
many
they the
balls.
disruptor is like fucking crazy talk now.
Yeah.
It disrupts into like 10 balls or something.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's a thing that's happening. Because I think
Yeah.
before it's like 3, if I'm not mistaken, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of balls.
But then you have that one where it's like what, it just splits into 3, but if you lose one, they keep splitting over and over.
Oh, I do
You know what I
remember that
mean?
one. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of like keep saving yourself. Yeah, as long
It's
as you
so
don't
what a
lose too
crazy
many too
game.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Arkanoid Returns though is like I
Did you say
said,
pirates? Pirate
R.
Pete.
Arkanoid is rated R. Would you watch a rated R Arkanoid movie?
Yes.
What would it entail? Would the Vouse ship slip into a
You can stop there.
Look, don't laugh at me, okay? I was just trying to. It's just in case a child was listening at that second. Yeah. Just
Zuntata sprinkles.
Yeah, yeah. In case the Vouse slips into a. um,
Yes,
um,
I would watch that.
but yeah, for a sequel, 10 years later, just like any of the other ones we discussed, like Elevator Action Returns or, the Bubble Symphony and Memories and Bubble Fuckface, I think this does exactly what it needs to do. It's just really cool. Like to see like 2D art in 1997, which was becoming a rarity at that point, right? You could still find it here and there in the arcade, Street Fighter 3, but nobody really gave a shit, Street Fighter
Nope.
3. So like, he didn't. We retconned that game. Anyway, but like it's interesting, right? Because like the technology was to the point where we could really do this to the nines, and I think they did for the technology at the time. It was just super
I
cool to see.
I also agree as well. Yeah, 1997 for like an Arkanoid sequel is actually pretty late, right? I mean, we're like going well into like 3D, graphics and like everything. But like, honestly, it pops, man. It's really got that color depth, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it might be kind of bizarre seeing like a sequel this late, but I mean, like, it earns its keep. I mean, especially
It
with
definitely.
that music. Wait, what?
Well, the music that you won't hear unless you don't suck ass.
I mean, I didn't get to hear much of it. Oh.
Yeah, it's super cool. The level design is really nice and snappy. There's some that you can like complete really fast, or some that might take a while to beat. And I really like that variety because like the other Arkanoids don't have that. Especially if you get the right power up, you can just really mow the level down, which seems kind of like newbie, but like I think it's fun. You know what I mean? Like it's a fun power trip because it's like, oh, I really gotta like keep this ball in play. Like you're really concerned about this one thing. And you feel kind of not powerless, but like you don't have the most weapons at your disposal. So when you do get a laser or something or a disruptor and you just mow them down, it feels great.
Yeah, and by no sense of the word is this a pushover. This is still very much a hard game.
Yeah,
Like
it's hard
there
as
might
fuck.
be yeah, there's some moments of like being able to cruise through things, but man, like it's still like tough going.
But that's what makes those moments feel great, though, when you can get there.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you prefer one of these? I mean, like, I guess I like Do It Again
I
the
think
best.
man, they're all good in their own right, but I think Do It Again is probably the strongest of the three. Again, if you want that art house material, Returns is pretty good, but like I think like Do It Again really iterates on its predecessor in a pretty meaningful way. Uh so
But
yeah.
in retrospect, though, isn't it kind of weird that they made Arkanoid Do It Again for SNES, which is not the 1987 game? It is a
Yes.
completely different game unto itself.
Nothing to do
But
with
at the
it.
same time, in the arcades, Arkanoid R was coming out. So were they just trying to Arkanoid it up on all platforms? Why did they call the SNES one a previous game then? That's kind of weird, right?
I thought they were gonna do it again.
I thought they were gonna do it again.
I was like,
Y'all,
oh god. I was like, oh god.
I hate puns like that. Come on.
Oh god. I guess maybe do it again appeals to people more. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a marketing thing. But then again, the game has nothing to do with the predecessors. So
No, sure doesn't. Okay, we're gonna take a break here, and we'll be right back. And we're gonna get weird as if we haven't already, plus some wrap up questions. So be back. All right, everybody, we're back. We didn't take any shrooms this time, as far as you know. Maybe.
as far as maybe, but I don't think I got any that sprinkled us in that tea I had.
That's sprinkly. Okay. While you sprinkle, it just makes that sound. Okay.
And you hear it in your head after you drink it.
Yes, of course. What? No. Okay, that would be so fucked up. I would never. Oh my god, I'm never doing drugs. Okay, so
don't do drugs.
We're gonna talk about a bunch of games that are on the paddle and trackball controller SD card that are pretty fucking strange because, well, look, to use those kind of controls, you gotta be weird, right? And not just Arkanoid weird, I mean weird. And one of those weird shits is something called Syvallion. Or wait, let me try to do the title screen. Syvallion.
Yeah, that's good. Should I take it? I mean, like,
yeah, because you're the one who lost your mind. So like,
I lost my mind when I played this game because like, there's a shmup called Saint Dragon that we both enjoy, right? So you control like a literal dragon, but like, I thought that game was like acid fuel, but this game, you like roll the trackball and like this dragon's like. I don't know if they're like crawling or rolling or what, but this dragon's like going everywhere. It's like darting everywhere, right?
And well, it's like a maze, right? You have to trackball the dragon through the maze, but you also have fire to breathe because you're a golden mechanical dragon.
I mean, I guess. And it's like the movement is so like rapid. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it follows your trackball movement, of course, right? But like just the way you like move through things and progress, like it's a really overbearing like motif, and like I was like losing my brain as I was like playing this. I'm like, oh my god!
Did you know that was that director's next project after Bubble Bobble? He was like, I have to make the dragon trackball game.
I didn't know.
That's what he decided he needed to do.
I mean, you get cutesy and then you get crazy. It kind of makes sense, right?
I mean, it has a cool art motif to it, but it's too fucking wild. I don't know if it's good, but it sure as hell is interesting.
I like playing it. I think it's decent enough. But yeah, it's just oh boy.
I think there's a SNES version that uses the mouse.
Is there? Oh man, I'm having trouble imagining that.
I think. I don't quote me on that.
These sprites are pretty big though. I don't know if it would have carried as well, but curious.
Speaking of big sprites, there's also Puchi Carat, which is like, oh my god. I don't know. Okay, so like, if you've played any '90s puzzle game, like a Magical Drop or Money Puzzle Exchanger, or even like later Puyo Puyo games, you know the type of anime we're talking about here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like a versus, it's like an Arkanoid versus game. Each person has their side of the screen, and you
Yeah.
do like Arkanoid stuff, and you fuck each other up. It's exactly what it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like. It's
Yeah.
cool, but it's also like I feel like the game concept wasn't really that important so much as just the motif. They wanted to do anime shit.
Oh, they go the whole bit though, because I mean, there's pretty much like animated back character backdrops, right? And like all these characters may as well have jumped out of some like OAV of the time, right? So yeah, oh my god, it's like ridiculous, man. And it's like, did you actually like playing this game? By the way, I mean, I like it, but
I like it, but I don't know if like look, if we had this at the arcade, I'd probably put a decent amount of coin into it, like don't get me wrong, but I don't know if that means that it's great. I don't know. I like it, but I have weird sensibilities, so don't take my word for it.
yeah. I think it's interesting though for 97 it lives that whole era, right? You won't talk about like time capsules, but
Yeah, well,
it's
Money
something.
Puzzle Exchanger is also 97, right? And the Neo Geo was more limited than whatever this runs on. But
Yes.
still, like, you
Oh
know,
my god.
it's cut from the same anime AF cloth,
Yeah,
right?
so if someone in this game had gone like the whole like oh ho, 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 bit like as in like Money Puzzle Exchanger, I mean I would have batted an eyelash, right? I mean like seriously.
Maybe that fake ass, I was going to say fake ass Bell Dandy, but everyone in the 90s had fake ass Bell Dandy, so it's not really.
Oh god. Oh my god. That's
Oh,
amazing.
man.
Yes. Oh, we should
The
probably move along. To plump, pop. That's a lot of
plump pop.
P's.
Plump
Plump,
pop.
pop. Yeah, you were insistent that I play this. I'm like, okay, I'm sure. I mean, I'll do it. So, like, I think you pick an animal. I think you beat. I don't remember all the picks, but cats, dogs, and I think one
You
other.
think I
But
picked a
like,
pig?
pig. That was the other one. Yeah. So, like, whatever animal you pick, those are your player characters. So it's like two of that animal, like holding up a I don't even know. I guess it's a springboard, trampoline, and like, and then you're also knocking like another animal up that you like at the same time. Like the animal you picked is like the projectile, but they fly like crazy. It's not like it makes like zero sense because you just go shoot doop and you like land on the ground and stuff,
It's not
right?
like Arkanoid where you can predict it. You know what I
Nope.
mean? Because these guys bounce wherever the fuck they want. So it's just
Yeah.
like, okay,
Oh,
I think I'm guessing you have no idea, and it happens so fast
you
too.
can't react
Like,
to shit.
mm-mm,
Oh my god. It's
no, it's. I'm
yeah.
not sure this game is good, but it's fascinating. Like, it's just the physics are so unpredictable that it's really hard to get mad at. Like, like I said, Arkanoid may kick my ass, but at least I know it's my fault. I don't know whose fault it is in Plump Pop. It could be anybody's. It could be
It's
yours.
maybe it's
Maybe. What are you talking?
that's the whole sense that you get from this playing this game. Maybe it's
Maybe
something. Maybe that
it's
was a
a
game.
it's a.
I'm not really sure.
Also, it doesn't appear to run at 60 frames a second, so it's
Nope.
like a weird like. It's a weirdly you need a game like that to be silky smooth, and it's not because you already can't predict whatever. Um.
It is fun enough. It's a way of putting it.
So here's one of my absolute favorite games on here, and it is called Cameltry.
That's a great
I
one. Oh god.
love Cameltry. Cameltry is like it's a maze game where you twist the entire maze instead of the ball going through the maze. So it's like you're timed, and for a game, and we talked about cusp art before, for a game from 1989, boy, this is the 90s. Let me tell you, they knew what the 90s were going to be like, and it is Cameltry.
Yeah, it really predicts a sort of like really wild like audio design, right? It's like a really it's
Yeah.
bopping. It's like weird, dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Zuntata put
yeah,
the jams in this one,
it's
man.
super jamming. It's
They
so
did
jamming.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I don't know. It's just a very deluxe, relaxing experience, just like any action puzzle game of this type should be. It's not like super frantic. I mean, you are racing against the clock, so there's always tension, but it's just such a great game and greatly designed game.
I love the progression through these levels. I mean, it feels really good once you like traverse things, and like it is feel like it's all your fault if you like spin the wrong way or whatever, right? It's like
Yeah.
this is very tightly, expertly crafted stages, and that's what I really, really get out of it.
Yeah,
And the jams.
really enjoy. Yeah, and the jams and the endings.
Oh, so I was like streaming a lot of this, and we're like these endings don't make any sense. They're like personifying the orb, like, and like we're joking that like one of the endings practically had like Fina from like East, like, I mean, holding the orb or something. Like, what the heck is this? What is going on in these endings? It's like I think one of them like the orb is like in love with another orb or something. I'm like, what's going on?
There's like a pink orb with a bow, and then like they have a heart over the head because it's a girl, right? So
yeah,
like,
that's how it works. Yeah.
Well, that's how it worked in 1989. So
it did work that way in 1989.
I think it's really interesting that there's an SNES port of this because, as you can probably imagine, rotating a maze like that tunes itself perfectly to mode 7.
It does.
So I know, unlike Syvallion, where I'm not sure, there is definitely a port of Cameltry called On the Ball for SNES, and it does use the mouse. I know that for sure.
Yeah. I don't know this version too well. I know of it via magazines, but like I would assume it's like decent enough, but I would assume it's pixelated AF as mode 7 was at the time, but I'm sure it was fine enough. I think.
I'm sure. No, I'm sure it. I mean, look, it's not like the original game was like super high res. If it were a game from like the mid 90s or something, sure. But 1989, I think you can probably do that.
Yeah,
I don't know. There was like a weird moment in the late 80s where like every company decided to make a weird puzzle game. I mean, Konami has, what's that one we always make fun of?
God,
Q-Brick or something like that.
Yeah,
like
Q-Brick, 2 words. Yeah, that threw me off. I'm like, Q-Brick, the game that uses like the Gradius 3 sound font.
Yeah, well, not just the sound font, the actual writing font too. It's like the same, like it's the Gradius like script. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know what got in the water with all these guys, but they all decided to make a puzzle game all at the same time.
The same Zuntata sprinkles. Wait, what?
Wow. Okay. There's a couple beat 'em ups on here, and I really hesitate to talk about this first one, but we gotta. So there's one here called the Ninja Kids. Vin is bracing himself. And I'm sorry, there's no other way to say this. It's a beat 'em up where you fight black people with cartoonishly large red lips. I'm gonna say that again. Black people with cartoonishly red lips that you are a ninja and you chop them in half a bunch. Not that it's bloody or anything, but it's like it's cartoony, but still, it's like so these like quote unquote limbs are flying everywhere in these heads, these very racist caricature heads. Look, even for 1990, this is crazy racist.
It's
like
so racist.
It's fascinating in its terrible decisions to do this. Like it is, I can't take my eyes off it because it's so. I cannot believe. Look, if there's a U.S. version of this machine, there's no way this can be here. I don't know how it can come here.
Yeah, and to further append to that, I feel like there's Ku Klux Klan members in the enemy lineup. I mean, they don't look exactly like that, but like they got the same sort of like get up, right? In some regards, just like tweaked or like.
Well,
whatever,
they're
right?
white hoods, but they have like two like sort of floppy ear things off of them, sort of like antenna. But they are white hoods, so do the math. I don't.
Exactly right. It's not too hard to connect the dots on that one. But the funny thing is that like we often make fun of like the Neo Geo beat 'em up Sengoku, which like has you like transporting through like spiritual planes. You're like, I was like losing my brain when I was playing that game on Switch, right? But I think this is even more crazy than that, because like the implication is that like this is like a puppet show of some kind, but like everyone's like these crazy proportions or like whatever. But what kind of like psychedelic like puppet show is this, man? Like it's the craziest thing.
Okay, but like sure, you could compare it to like Lose Your Mind Factor Sengoku. Sengoku isn't crazy racist.
No, it is not crazy racist.
Like this is, man, I don't know. I don't even really. it's hard to be offended by it for real because it's so old and it's like who would get offended by something like this? It's just
Yeah,
it's just terrible taste. I don't
even for
understand.
1990. Yeah,
Even
and
for
like
1990.
and here's the crazy part of the game, not to spoil the Ninja Kids, but the game is about like resurrecting Satan for some reason. Like, what is this doing here?
Oh my god.
So you can fill in the dots about the last boss. So like, why is this even a thing about? Why are ninjas doing any of this? Right? It doesn't make any sense.
I just
God.
let's move on. This never happened.
I
Okay,
wish.
so there's a much less racist, still a little bit racist, but much less racist game that's a beat 'em up on here called Runark. I think the US name is Growl. Either way,
Yes.
I've never heard of it. But yeah, so hey kids, remember 90s neo environmentalism?
Yes.
Here it is in a beat 'em up.
Ooh, it's everywhere in this game. It's 90s environmentalism to beat 'em up. And like it's a really explosive spectacle because I mean the premise is I guess you're a ranger, I guess. So
You're
like
Indiana Jones. You're fucking Indiana Jones.
And like you're literally saving deer and eagles and elephants. But the caveat is that like you save this elephant and it can like gore people. Like what the hell's going
Yeah,
on?
it's wild. It's some wild shit.
And you want
It's
to
almost
talk
like
about
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, where if you free the dinosaur, like it goes on your side or whatever, and then like
yeah, it's a little more like cutscene-ish than that, I think. But like, yeah, I mean, basically the same idea. And like, there's like crazy text. There's like shabroom text. Like, you want to talk about like crazy onomatopoeia shenanigans. But like, I feel like there's a tinge of racism in this game because I feel like
sprinkle of racism.
It's a little sprinkle of racism. You're beating up people in turbans, man. Like, I mean, come on, dude. It's messed up.
Look, we have like Sunset Riders where the Native American stuff in that game is out of control. Like, look, it was a different time. We just did stuff like that, whatever. I'm not saying, oh god, let's cancel Egret II Mini, right? But at the same time, it's just kind of like you know.
It's a product of the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this game's particularly good. I mean, I credit fed through it, but I've never had like a beat 'em up credit like last this short because there's like practically very little invincibility, right? You can just get punched out and you're like over and over again, you're like gone, right? And like, but I had to keep playing it to see like this crazy spectacle with all the like environmentalism, the beat 'em up spectacle, right? I had to see it, but it's like, man, I don't know, it's crazy.
I would say I like this game. I wouldn't say it's not very good. I would
really?
probably elevate it a little bit more than that. But
Okay,
like
sure.
I don't know. One more game in this section that I really wanted to get to is something called Outer Zone. I guess I could have got to it in the old shit section because it's from 1984. However, it's really cool. It's like a cool little isometric maze game. You see like the whole maze in front of you.
Yeah, it's a really distinct visual.
Yeah, it's very distinct, and you see like it's like radio towers you blow up to go to the next level. It's like it's very simple, but it's also cool. There's like one button to fire and one button to like you have to manually turn your vessel around so it's facing the right way that you want to fire or whatever. That sounds finicky, but it's not. You only face the two directions.
You turn it on a dime too. It happens really quick.
Yeah, it's really fast. So that sounds like kind of finicky, but it's not.
Yeah.
You can't fall off the paths or anything, so it's just you just get to worry about turning which way and finding your way through navigating the truly a maze because you're doing like 3 different like heights of like maze. You're going under stuff, over stuff before you run out of fuel. But like one aspect of this game that kills me is the music. It's hella piddly as shit.
It's almost not even there. Yeah, it's super funny.
It's really piddly.
Yeah.
It's really funny though.
The visual's so weird though, because I don't know why you're traversing like a fake ass MC Escher maze to like blow up radio towers. Like, what is that? It's like weird.
I mean, it is MC Escher as fuck, but like,
yeah. And your ship goes like up and down like the walls like shoop de doop. It's like, what? Okay.
Oh, to get up to the next level? Yeah. It's like hella fucking. I don't understand at all. So I think that's going to take care of our like largely game portions of this. Now we have just some, I guess not wrap up questions, but just general thoughts about this entire thing, I guess. So, how necessary do you personally think the paddle and trackball controller is to just some schmuck who's just looking to play arcade games on this thing? Like, do you
You
think they need
know,
this?
I don't think it's an obligatory thing, but I think it's pretty recommended, if only just because, like, you can't really experience these elsewhere, right? And I think it might help, like, people just stick with the unit if you can, like, bust out some Arkanoid or, like, whatever, right? I think just the fact that it provides a unique experience is pretty meaningful. But,
I
man,
It's tough. Like, I find this almost impossible to recommend because of the price. It's so
yeah,
expensive.
it really is.
Like, I can't like suggest someone spend $110 on to play a, a few different versions of Arkanoid and Cameltry and Plump Pop. Like, I mean, look, we
Way to
really,
enunciate that one.
yeah. But like, it's tough though. It's such a tough sell. Literally a tough sell.
Yeah, it is a lot of money.
So it's too, for me, it's just too expensive to justify unless they absolutely must play Arkanoid or something, right? Like,
Yeah, I can
I
see that.
just, it's too hard. Then again, though, I feel like anyone like truly interested in this will be going that extra mile just because they want to try. If you're being adventurous, you may as well go all the way, right? But for a casual person, no way.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's
Uh,
a lot of money.
What do you wish was on here that's not on here? There isn't a whole lot. The list, I think I can speak for both of us and say the list on here is just excellent. Like, the games that are here,
There's a lot
just
of yeah. This covers a lot of ground. The game that I'm thinking of is not particularly good, but I almost would have liked to see it, which is a Frontline. It's like one of the very first like Taito games. It's like it's kind of sort of like a top-down run and gun in some ways, but it controls kind of stiffly. I still think it would have been good as like a legacy sort of thing to
I've
include.
never played Frontline. Is it? I'm sure I know it's on Arcade Archives. I've never.
I did the console port a lot. I did the arcade version like a little bit, I think. Maybe I don't remember exactly where, but it's okay. It's like very very okay. I think just contextually for historical purposes, I think that's why I would have liked to see it. There's some
Maybe
other
they
like
just figured they had enough old shit as it was.
yeah, that's probably they had the curate, right? So that's probably why.
Yeah.
And like playing up the whole like puzzle angle, I almost would have liked to see Cleopatra Fortune, which I haven't really played that much. I know it's like coming out via some random collection like pretty soon, but
S tribute stuff, I think, as we were talking about earlier. Yeah.
wasn't exactly expecting S tribute to be a running quasi gag here, but here we are, I guess, right?
I mean, look, we're talking about 90s Taito. It's unavoidable, right? So
this is very very true. There's also a pretty reputable beat. I think it's a beat 'em up. Curie Kinton. I think you probably know of this one, right?
yeah, I think that's coming to. Isn't that on Arcade Archives, maybe, or coming soon?
I believe it. I believe that's the case. Yes.
Yeah, that
Uh,
would have been. That probably would have been cool.
yeah. It looks cool. I haven't really gotten to do it too much. And then I think something that can speak for you as well. Psychic Force would have been nice, like that one-on-one,
Yeah,
like
baby.
flying
I love
action.
Psychic
Yeah.
Force. I specifically love Psychic Force 2012, but even the original would have been perfectly fine with me. Holy
Yeah.
shit. One of the most unique fighting games you could possibly
It's
play.
super unique, and I don't think it's too late because I mean it's contemporary with like I think RayForce and stuff, right? So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I think the first one came out in '95. I think 2012 was '97. I
That
don't
sounds
think
about
they're
right.
too.
Yeah,
Even if I'm wrong a little bit, and let's say they're '97 and '99, that's still not too late. Puchi
yeah,
Carat and Arkanoid are '97 as well, right? So it's like
exactly,
whatever.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah, but and you have a pretty thorough. Well, you have a few games that you would have liked to see as well.
well, yeah, one of my favorite Taito games, period, is called Majestic 12, aka known as the Space Invaders Part 4 with a Roman numeral 4.
You
So
love the
yeah, it's
Roman
basically
numerals.
It's basically really tricked up Space Invaders, and what we were talking about with that early 90s vibe, Majestic 12 hits that. As you can tell, it's called Majestic 12. Like,
It's in the
so,
name.
yeah. So I would have really liked to have seen that here. I think it was on one of those Taito compilations in the mid 2000s, like the PS2 ones or
I
something, but
believe so, yes.
yeah. Um, Night Striker. Night Striker is one of my favorite games. It's basically Space Harrier. Imagine like Knight Rider, but Space Harrier. Like you're flying through the air and shooting all these crazy things at night, these crazy neon buildings. Like it's the idea of the 80s that everyone thinks the 80s was now that we retcon into it, like with like Vaporwave and shit like that, but it wasn't actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
wasn't
like that.
Vaporwave
It's like
everywhere?
that kind of 80, but it's for real in this game.
It was, yeah, this is very striking environment design.
Yeah, it's very night striking.
Oh, yeah, that actually was not intentional. You got me. Zing-a-ling. It's funny.
No, you can't do it. Only I can. Only me. No. No. I would have liked to have seen the two FMV games, Ninja Hayate and Time Gal. Now look, I understand maybe that would have taken up too much space on the thing, blah blah blah. I don't think so. With our compression techniques nowadays, you can fit a couple laser disc games on here.
Oh, easy. Oh yeah.
Come on now.
Flash
So,
memory's
like,
gotten a lot bigger now, yeah.
Yeah, I would have. I mean, particularly Time Gal. Ninja Hayate is cool, but Time Gal is the one I really would have liked to have seen. Rastan Saga 3 is cool as fuck. They go back to the if anyone doesn't know, Taito used to use like super widescreen cabinets sometimes, like with Darius and the Ninja Warriors, like 3x4 screens, side by side by side. Rastan Saga 3 does that. It is a huge fucking screen. And it's so cool. It's way cooler than like, I don't know, Revenge of Death Adder or any of its like contemporaries in the
Oh my
early
god, I forgot about
90s.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's way cooler than that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like it looked Rust Saga 2 sucks. It's probably one of the worst sequels of all time. 3 though,
Ooh.
like it's almost more like a traditional beat 'em up in ways. It's not like the original, but like it's I don't know. I'll send you a replay burners of it sometime. It is so fucking cool looking. Oh
yeah,
my
I don't know
god.
too much about that one. Yeah.
It is wild. And just for kicks for us, me and Vin like a little game called Sea Fighter Poseidon. This came out last summer in Arcade Archives, and it was just like the new game, and we were visiting, so it's just like, oh, we got stupid, and we just decided to play it. We played it for an extraordinarily long amount of time. We played it a lot, actually.
Yeah, we might have made our friends watch it. I don't know why we did this, inflict this upon anybody, but we did do that. That was the thing that happened.
That's a cool theme song. We made up lyrics to the theme song.
We did.
You remember?
I do. I don't remember the exact words off the top of my head, but I remember that we did.
All I remember is Sea Fighter I remember just literally the name of the game. So like I don't remember.
That would have been time appropriate if you just say the title drop. Oh my god!
Did you gain any respect for anything on this unit? Any games that you didn't really like that much before, but now you kind of
I didn't really know the most about RayForce because I didn't have that much hands-on experience, but I definitely love me some RayForce now, baby.
Okay, I'm glad you feel that way, yeah, because you were kind of like, whatever, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I just never actually owned it, so I didn't really know, but nor did I get to play the cabinet that much. But I got a question, which is, are there any games that you think people who are unfamiliar with this library should absolutely play?
You got to play Kadash. If you I don't know. I feel like that's really the most. I feel like that game was so successful because it was such a concept people understood. Side-scrolling action adventure, Zelda 2-ish, Fazanadu-ish. Like that kind of game was popular at that time, and to have an arcade version of that, it's gold. So I
good.
really think it's Kadash. And like if you don't really know much about shmups, RayForce is obviously like something you should always. You can't go wrong with those two.
Were you like RayForce? Color me
no
surprised.
Way.
It's impossible. Yeah, I got a handful. I mean, Darius Gaiden, and of course, any of those shmups. Really, it's just so crazy, man. And Volfeed. I think that one's it's good. It's a trip in itself for other reasons, but
I feel like Volfeed would scare people the fuck away.
You
Like,
think so?
Volfeed is so wild that it's
Man,
like,
I mean, I think it's worth experiencing though. But yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely. And but yeah, it's just the list goes on. But I think those in particular, I think those really stand out.
I personally, now I'll see what you just think of this. I personally feel like you don't make a mini console with an SD card slot to just have the pedal and trackball controller SD card slot for a one-time thing. They've got to release other SD cards. Man, they've got to.
I feel like that would make sense, but for some reason I'm not feeling it. I feel like this was intended to be like a marketed sort of like a concentrated thing, but then again, there is that slot, and that is kind of a weird thing to just have it for one card, right? So I mean, I don't know, but for some reason I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's built for it. I feel like if there's any one where they can really do this, it's this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
especially since it practically overwrites whatever games are like. Basically, you can only access the games on the card. So I mean, that is the setup.
Exactly. So, and this is, you put this in here, but I'm gonna steal your thunder real quick. It's just because this is something I never thought about in my entire history of really loving this company. Why does Taito have branching path games with like the letters are always A B C D?
Mm-hmm.
They always do that. Always.
Yeah, they really do.
Ever since, what was the first? Darius?
Darius is probably the first one, I think. Yeah, but
why?
I mean, it
like they always. I mean, down to Puzzle Bobble does it, and like
yes, it
Darius Gaiden does it, and like so many. What do you think that is like with them?
The easy answer is that they want to encourage replayability at the arcades, but if you really get down to it, maybe they just come up with so many ideas they don't want to do a linear thing. Maybe they really want to like cram their art house stuff into like the game. I mean, I think the lettering and the branching paths is an extension of their design sensibilities.
Yeah, and it's kind of iconic too. Like you see it and it's like, oh, that's a recognizable thing that they do.
You start off with Zone A and it becomes a freaking like pyramid of like choices, right?
Yeah, it's really wild. Okay, one last question. We can get the hell out of here. Is this better than the TurboGrafx 16 Mini? That's our personal favorite mini console between us. Is this better?
It's so hard to say, man. It's they both have really extensive libraries. They're really well-rounded and diverse. And you can't get bored of any of this content, like on both machines. Yeah, and there's just so much you just can't experience it elsewhere. But oh god, I don't know. It's so close. I mean, could you even like call it?
I feel okay. I can't really answer that question. One, I don't think it's too close. Like I would have to sit with this a little more to be able to say that. I feel like the answer is no, but I will say this though. I will say this. What this machine did do was elevate Taito as a company for me a lot. Now, I've always thought highly of them, obviously, but Capcom has always been my favorite arcade company, my favorite company that's not Nintendo or, whatever. Always has been, but to the point where I could never consider anyone to be remotely close to Capcom in my mind. That is still true, but this is going to be controversial. Taito's output, as far as this mini console is concerned, I think their output's better than Namco's.
And honestly, I would have considered Namco to be one of my like forerunners behind Capcom. So it's like, I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. There's just so much, man. It's so like it does so many genres well.
Yeah, like honestly, like I don't know if they do another Namco museum, I might be fawning over myself again, right? But like, who knows? But like right now, I kind of feel like just looking at the totality of like I don't know, let's just say from like 1979 to like 1997 or whatever that period of arcade-ness is from the 80s and 90s, kind of the height of it.
Yeah,
I'll take Taito.
It's not just the sprinkles speaking.
So, oh my god, I didn't think we'd recall the sprinkles so much. The Zuntata sprinkles. Yeah, they got Zuntata. Namco doesn't have Zuntata.
It's hard to beat that.
Alright. Have we talked enough about Taito today?
I'm not sure if it's possible to talk enough, but we'll have to draw a line somewhere.
Okay, let's get out of here then. Thanks, guys, for listening. You know where to find us on Twitter, Find Time Podcast. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.